What's up, y'all? It's T-Turn. Today I'm going to be showing you guys Paradox Pokemon that should be in the DLC. These are some top-notch designs. You guys got to see them. We're going to start off with how these artists can be on the dot. Shortly after Walking Wick was revealed, Bulby Boy made a Paradox Raikou and a Paradox Entei. The Raikou turned out to be spot on to what Raging Bolt actually is. You know, not the thunder clouds, the zigzag here, or the tail, but the long neck. Here's the one he made for Entei. It's called Pharaoh Flame Fire Dragon, and it's based off that armored dinosaur. Now, the point of these paradoxes is to make them weird. It's to ruin them. So this one looks pretty good, but I'd want it to be a pterodactyl. You know, if you're gonna ruin them, just make Entei take to the skies. I mean, it'd be funny if they give a backstory to those cuffs Entei has. Not that he was freaking arrested. Maybe there used to be flames that came out of it and they acted as like wings. But yes, while on the topic of the Johto legendaries, there is the king of the three beasts, which is HoOh. Here's Gold Mills, who made an ancient HoOh, and just prepare yourself before you look at it. It's called Shimmer Wing, which is like a weaker rainbow wing, so it's glowing but not as much. Maybe it's safe to assume modern HoOh is the stronger one, but this is what it looks like. You can see it's not fully a phoenix anymore. Actually, if you cover the back up, it kind of looks like the HoOh we know, but it's more of a dragon. In fact, that's what it is. It's a fire dragon type. So he said he wanted to make them more like Eastern dragons, which is fitting because of the traditions they have in Johto. You would imagine back in the day, the HoOh they worshipped maybe was something like an Eastern dragon. In fact, it looks more like this was some kind of monster that, as they worshipped, it calmed down and eventually devolved into the more serene HoOh we know, as it lived with the people. So when you look like this, it looks like you burned the burned tower crap, then freaking resurrected them. Thinks he's a hero. Whenever you're playing a game, you always think about the opposite version, right? Here's an idea: if the three Johto beasts actually had future forms as a counterpart. We're gonna learn what Paradox Pokemon are in these two DLCs, and then it'll make sense why Pokemon turned into these. But this is a cool one. So Raikou's cape has been torn off, and he has these three floating bits at the end. His horns are sharper, he has electric middle fingers, and his tail is now a futuristic bolt. But if you look in the back, he's actually got some strings here. The reason he's called Iron Current is because of this bit here, where it looks like he's generating EM waves and attacking with it. Whoever enhanced Raikou into this did something crazy. This sucker's gonna change the radio. He can hack into your radio station with this. You could be wearing wireless headphones and he'll talk to you. I love the idea of the counterpart side that you can never reach. If they implied in the DLC that there might be future versions to the three beasts, but they never show what they look like, that'd be really cool. Here's the next one. It's Paradox Entei, and it's called Iron Ardor, which is like, it means passion. He's very passionate. This Entei is completely enhanced. First off, the cuffs have this digital red on them. He's even got special middle fingers. Good on you. And like Iron Volcarona, he has these floating fire plates. The spikes on Entei's back has floated to this, and what used to be Entei's smoky cape, because he's supposed to look like a wandering flame. Now if you saw this thing flying by, it'd be like seeing a unicorn. You just see a bolt of colors, and also someone rubbed his belly too much. But there's a theme here. The same way Raikou's based on EM waves, maybe something like radio waves, Entei's based on infrared waves. That's why I made the joke. With radio waves, you can broadcast signals, make phone calls, but infrared is where you make these inventions like heaters, because they radiate heat. And also it's a fire electric type, which is insane. It's because he's messing with waves. And of course, the final one, which has nothing to do with waves, is Iron or this is the most beautiful thing ever. Like, I like the Cobalion. It looked a bit more different than normal Cobalion. But when are we gonna get Miraidon-like future Pokemon? I'm so sorry to everyone who bought Violet. And to me too, I bought one. Actually, this thing could have to do with waves, maybe freaking water waves. Aurora, of course, are those northern lights you'll see sometimes. It's supposed to look like that when it's wandering around. Its cape turned into the big Aurora. Its crown is actually just this piece and this upper piece, but it's connected with energy, and its cape is splattered all over the place wirelessly. Also, a belly rub is evident. And of course, middle fingers. Dr. Science in the future seemed to have kept his tail up until this point, where it is just energy as well. You know, it'd be really cool if all three of these Pokemon could turn off the energy and you just see like the skeletal form. Maybe like in their idle animation, they go in and out of it. And fittingly, this one is a water psychic type. It looks like the only calm one of the three. And of course, why don't we finish it all off with the king of the three legendary beasts, but in future form. It is called Iron Radiance. Oh, goodness. It is a fire steel type and it's future HoOh. It's got the same pattern going on. It's all just energy. If it could turn it off and on, it would look so cool. Now, how could there be a world where HoOh died and actually didn't rise again? They actually had to start fixing it up with screws. I imagine HoOh's always this like peaceful Pokemon that when they try to mess with it in the future, that this turns into like a killing machine, you know? It just flies off somewhere and they never see it again. The complete opposite. This actually looks a lot like normal HoOh, kind of like how they did Hydreigon and Tyranitar. But Goldmills here did a good job at maximizing whatever he could. Even if Pokemon wants to confine themselves with these future Pokemon, stuff like this is still possible. And of course, last thing I wanted to show you was a 3D model while we're on the topic of these Johto Pokemon. Johto is actually one of the least explained regions. What HoOh and Lugia are, how the beasts came to be if they were only born 150 years ago, but we have dinosaurs. Johto is one of the next hype seasons, and 2024 is the 25th anniversary of Johto. It started in 1999. So when they revisit Johto, we could get some expanded lore, and it brings us to fun stuff like this. Here is a past paradox of Lugia. And it looks really cool. It has that serpentine look again, kind of like the Eastern dragon with the HoOh. Its name is Primordial Ryujin, which just means like ancient, and then Ryujin is dragon god, the ancient dragon god. And fittingly, it's still not a water type, even though it's clearly going in the water. Essentially, this is supposed to be the king of the seas beyond even Kyogre. This mythical Pokemon could possibly be related to the legendary Lugia and is believed to be Lugia's ancestor. These two words look crazy. It appears in the Scarlet book as a primordial god of the sea who controlled the tides and water-dwelling Pokemon with the gems in its hand. It would be more fitting if these gems it made itself out of energy, but the gems itself are fitting because the mythology of the Ryujin is that it has these magical tide jewels that it uses to control the tides and make all of the ocean as its servants. See, this is what it looks like in some artworks, and this naked princess is trying to steal its orbs. But if I remember the story correctly, the dragon god actually stole the jewel in the first place. So going back to this design, I'm gonna assume those aren't even your jewels. It's also based off an extinct creature from 66 million years ago called the Plesiosaur. I'm pretty sure you don't want to go to where Sada went. This is Sada. This is how she dies. It is 34 feet wide, and you know, it kind of builds off well leading into the modern Lugia entry, which is that like wherever it goes, Lugia constantly summons storms. When it flaps its wings, it causes like a 40-day storm, and sometimes when it's really stormy outside, you might just see a Lugia flying by. That's what they say. He doesn't have the wings yet, but it's like he absorbs whatever these are into whatever its modern power is. Another thing they could explain with Lugia and HoOh, but more specifically Lugia for this one, is how it's considered the king or the master of the three birds, especially now that we have the Galarian birds. It could be something as simple as maybe an ancient Lugia saved these like young chicks in a nest, and they grow up to be Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, and forever grateful to Lugia. Because unlike HoOh, it doesn't look like Lugia made them. But yeah, I'm gonna call it quits here. Make sure y'all shank that like button and comment below what you think the story to the Johto beasts are. Are the dinosaurs the ones that died 150 years ago and got reborn? Because they're dinosaurs. They can't exist until now. Remember, keep sending me your theories on Instagram, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.